What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. And apparently Yoimiya's banner has been revealed, and well, shit. It's not a very good banner. We're gonna talk through why, because the 4 stars that are on her banner are Diona, Xinyan, and the new 4-star character Sayu. And unfortunately, almost none of those characters really have any kind of synergy with Yoimiya. So that's the biggest problem with this banner. What she really needed on her banner was something like Xingqiu so that she could vaporize her attacks, and especially to help people get those constellations to get closer to C6 so that you can have an easier time vaporizing her normal attacks. And then a second character that would have been pretty good for her would have been Xiangling, because Xiangling just hasn't been on a banner in like forever. So bringing Xiangling back would have been great, and Xiangling is also secretly really OP. Definitely the best 4-star pyro unit that we have. Unfortunately, I think our only other 4-star pyro unit is Amber. Oh shit, and almost forgot Yanfei. And the closer that people get to a C6 Xiangling will allow them to use their burst for 40% longer and get a 15% pyro damage bonus to all of her teammates. So that is great synergy for Yoimiya. And then for the third character, it would obviously have to be Sayu, because she's the new 4-star that's coming with this banner. And Sayu's pretty solid. I haven't actually looked into her skills 100% yet, but she is an Animo character, and for the most part, Animo characters are usually not terrible. Their swirl damage and support ability just for being Animo is really good. Being able to utilize that 4-piece Viridescent Venerer set is basically always a plus. So since her banner is going to give us Diona unfortunately doesn't really have any kind of synergy with Yoimiya. She can give a shield, which I guess is technically good for everybody, but it's not a direct synergy with Yoimiya. She provides healing as well, but again, just kind of general synergy for any character. Diona constellations are okay. The closer that you can get to C6 is pretty good, because you get that elemental mastery buff when your HP is above 50%. 200 elemental mastery is a lot, so if you're able to hit C6 on your Diona, that would be pretty good, and that's kind of the only saving grace on this banner besides Sayu. This elemental mastery can help you with vaporized damage especially. If you decide to run Diona on the same comp as Yoimiya, but I think that you probably wouldn't. You'd probably go with a more traditional vaporized team with some kind of Animo Shred and Bennett and Xingqiu. But since Diona is on this banner, and if you're new to the game, this is what you're gonna get, so it can work, but not as well as other characters would work. And then the second character is Xinyan, and Xinyan is not a bad character, guys. Don't get me wrong. I think she's actually pretty good, but she has no synergy with Yoimiya at all. Besides being pyro to help generate pyro particles, but Xinyan doesn't really fulfill that role either, because her E skill is on a super long cooldown. 18 seconds of cooldown, and I believe she generates about 4 particles, so it's really not that much. Another shield character as well, which I guess is universal, but not very synergistic with Yoimiya. She also provides physical damage, which is not synergistic with Yoimiya. I think you guys are getting the idea that Xinyan just doesn't synergize very well with Yoimiya at all. Constellations included, nothing here really benefits Yoimiya, because we only get a physical damage buff, and the rest of her constellations just buff up Xinyan herself. So that's highly, highly unfortunate. And then of course there's Sayu. She is also another healer, and she's Animo, so she can synergize okay by giving you elemental resistance shred if she runs a 4-piece Viridescent Venerer set. So Sayu is solid, but again also pretty general and not a direct synergy with Yoimiya. And then for the weapon banner is also not too great, because we are getting another Skyward weapon, and unfortunately the Skyward weapons just aren't very desirable. Their passive skill just isn't very useful, but they are 5-star weapons, so their stats are just pretty good. So if you really have nothing else, then yeah, it's great, but you definitely want something else. There's better options. The 4 stars on this weapon are pretty decent though. It comes with the Sacrificial Sword, the Sacrificial Fragments, and the Dragon's Bane. I think that those three weapons are pretty good weapons, especially the sacrificial weapons. That Sax Sword is basically the #1 weapon you want for Xingqiu, and the higher you can get a refinement on this, the better chance that you can reset his E skill, which is very, very valuable. Same thing with the sacrificial fragments. The E skill cooldown reset is really good for generating a lot of energy for the team. The Dragon's Bane is secretly actually really good. Even though it has super low base attack, this elemental mastery really does help out, and this damage bonus helps out a lot too, because you're usually going for vaporized damage, and if you do that, elemental mastery boosts that as well as this extra damage bonus. So this weapon's actually secretly pretty good if you didn't know that. Getting this to a higher refinement is definitely something that's not bad. But the other two weapons on the weapon banner are just kind of average. You get the Favonius Warbow, which you can throw this onto any kind of support character that you just want to generate energy recharge for, but it's kind of run-of-the-mill. And it's also been on plenty of weapon banners in the past, so you might already have high refinement on this weapon already. And then the Rain Slasher is kind of to be desired. There isn't really any great use cases for this yet, except maybe a electro charged build Beidou, but that's just in theory. Maybe pair her with a Xingqiu and you can get some pretty good electro charge damage off, but not actually sure if that's optimal. It sounds like fun, but probably not the best. Transformative reactions were buffed, however, so it's definitely something that could be looked into, and I might do that because I have a level 90 Rain Slasher at R2, so I'm kind of curious. Maybe I'll do it one day, maybe I won't, I don't know. If I have time, then maybe I'll give it a try. But yeah, guys, the Yoimiya banner doesn't look too great, but that doesn't mean you should not pull for her. I know that I am still going to try to pull for her, but if I don't get her, I'm probably not going to spend my money, and I'm going to save my pity for the next banner, which is very likely going to be the Raiden Shogun. If you guys absolutely want Yoimiya, do not let this banner convince you to do otherwise, because remember, at the end of the day, you should just play this game how you want. If you want to play this game with Yoimiya and make her work and make her just destroy the abyss, then go for it, because it's certainly possible. Anyway guys, that's the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are going to be pulling for Yoimiya, and how many Primogems do you have left for her. Until next time guys, I will see you later.